Are you ready to discover who you came here to be? Welcome to the Human Design and Astro Club podcast. Human Design is a system and a tool that is here to empower you and show you your greatest potential. Come learn with us and discover who you really are. Hi friends, Krystle here. I am popping into this episode to give you a brief rundown on some exciting opportunities. Leah and I love coming on here week after week to provide for you value on the transits, education, and empowering interviews to help you align to your uniqueness. Before we dive into this next episode, I wanted to share with you many different opportunities to connect and work with us outside of the podcast. The first offer is actually completely free. Yep, you heard that right. We have a completely free guide to help you align to your authority. If you have been having a challenging time to understand how your unique authority works, we've got you covered because we have developed a guide on tips and tricks to honoring your strategy and authority. And you can pick up that free guide down below in our show notes. Now, the next opportunity is also free, so listen up. We know with the state of the world right now how deeply our children are being affected by the 2027 mutation that we are moving towards. So we have decided to put out a free live Zoom class for you to learn how to nurture your child through their design. This also goes for your inner child. So if you don't have a kid, you can still come. We'll be announcing the date soon, so definitely get on our wait list down below in our show notes. And we might have a special opportunity on our next class that we'll be announcing live during our kids' class, so definitely join us for this unique opportunity. Next offer is a manual. We have developed a language manual on the concepts for human design. If you've been struggling with how to read your own chart or you don't understand the key terms in human design, we've got you covered. Go ahead right now and pick up your copy to your user manual to your true self down below. We do have mini classes on the 4 transformations, which you can pick up either the individual class or a bundle for determination, cognition, and also our environments class down below in the show notes. Now, if you're a transit junkie and you've been loving our program episodes and you're interested in knowing what's going on for this year, you will most definitely want to get our 2022 energy forecast that includes all of the major cosmic events and all the major cosmic players of this year through the lens of human design, astrology, and tarot, and you can pick that up down below. Now, last but not least is an opportunity to connect with us one-on-one if you would like a reading. I have had the opportunity to help so many of you have breakthroughs on your design with my Desire, Motivation, and Power View. I really can show each and every one of you where your power is in your design and how to use it in this material world. Go ahead and check out my offers through my website down below in the show notes. And if you would like a tarot reading, definitely check out Leah's website down below as well. And I would like to thank each and every one of you for the love and support for this podcast and also us as individuals. I will stop open-throating right now and go ahead and let you check out this next transformative episode. I'll see you over there, friends, and thank you for being here. Welcome to the Human Design and Astro Club podcast. I'm Krystle.
And I'm Leah.
And this is the podcast you've been waiting for. Ta-da!
Dee. I feel like we need like a little tune. Maybe we should put like a little tune at the beginning.
We need to have, I want someone to like sound the horns when so that they know that my defined heart's coming. It's here. My open throat is here and I'm ready to talk. Maybe. I don't know. My voice is not quite what it is because I got COVID, everybody. Woo! No, I'm just
womp, womp, womp. Oh,
for the first time, which is, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of weird to say that it took me this long.
Yeah.
I made it a very long time. I feel like I should get a prize. But you've technically you've made it longer.
Technically, I have no idea if I've ever had it though. Like I don't test every day, but anytime someone I was around me
No,
had
but I
it
mean
and I
your
tested, I
your
never got
daughter
it.
had it.
Oh
So I
yeah.
mean it traveled through your house is what I'm
It,
saying. It didn't I hadn't even hasn't even gone through my house yet. This is the first time.
yeah.
But the fact that you didn't get it, I'm just so confused. But the virus doesn't make any sense. Like we
It's
were
all
just talking about, I was like, let's
yeah.
just talk about this on the podcast. Like the virus makes zero sense. You could be in close contact with it and like someone sneezes in your face, but for some reason you don't get it. But then like you go to the grocery store and you're standing in behind somebody in the line and then you get it or something. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm,
and like some people's immune systems get it, some people's don't. Some people, they're just asymptomatic and you're just like, what? And I was hoping I was going to be that person because when you told me that happened to you, and I had another friend tell me they didn't get it either when they went through their whole house, I think 2 or 3 times. I was like, what?
yeah.
And I'm like, I want to be that person, but I knew I wasn't going to be. I knew because I have a reflector body, I have a defined spleen, which does filter through a lot of stuff, but that's through um, the generator part of me, which is in my mind. It's not my actual physical body is completely open because
Yeah.
it's reflector.
Yeah.
And so I noticed because I like to keep tabs. I noticed that my husband, who is straight up generator in both conscious and unconscious design and personality, he's all generator all the way through. He has a defined spleen, toughest like immune system. Just give him anything. If he gets sick, it's like a day and then he's like right back up like it never happened. I'm like, fuck you, Dave.
First of all, fuck you, Dave, for bringing it.
Yeah, fuck you, Dave, for bringing back this like Mexican gift. Oh, that sounded racist. I'm so sorry. That's not, that was not, it's because he was in Mexico.
Yeah.
I want to be very
The
clear.
gift,
I'm
the
not.
gift from Mexico.
Yes, it was a gift from Mexico. He said he wasn't able to find any gifts for us because he couldn't get off the resort. So he decided to bring COVID.
Worst gift shop gift ever on the face of
Yeah,
the earth.
he did go to the gift shop at the Cancun airport. Like that's not where he got it. He definitely got it like at the resort because like 90% of his company got
Mm,
because they all went. I was like, that's kind of crazy, like thinking about an entire company
yeah.
getting it and then having to go back home and then work because like nobody could not work because everybody was there.
And a majority of them are work from home.
All of them, they're all
All of
remote now. They did have an off. They
So
did.
they work from home for 2 years or however long they worked from
Well,
home.
actually, some of them were in the office that they just closed down because they decided to just there's just no point in having that kind of
Yeah.
overhead when half the company was already working from home or even more than that. So they were
Hmm.
like, you know what, let's cut this overhead and because they have like we work spaces now. I don't know if you know what that is.
No, but is that like a share?
Oh my God, you got to watch that show with Anne Hathaway with the guy that invented WeWorks. There's a show. Oh my God, that was such a good show. I forget what was it on Hulu. I'm trying to remember where that series was. It might have been Hulu. I'll have
Okay.
to ask Dave. You should you and Garrett would love it just because
So
you
is it
both
like
have
a
the
ride
44
share but
26.
for working?
It's is it what?
It's like a ride share but for working, like instead
It's
of
like a
a
workspace. Like it's like a building that anybody can be, you can pay to work in that
interesting.
space. or hold meetings or seminars or whatever it is that you want. And there this crazy guy invented it, but sort of didn't invent it and stole the idea from this other guy that he uh, brought with him, and then like made him do all the work. I should go look at what he was or what he is. He ended up getting fired. He was CEO. I don't know how he got this company off the ground to even begin with. But he ended up making like billions of dollars. And then because he was so crazy, like they ended up like the board of people, the directors or whatever, ended up firing him and kicking him out of his own company. So, spoiler alert for that show, but it's a true story, so you might already know. I forget what the guy's name is, but I'm like, he had to have been a man. I think he's a manifester. Like he just like the at least the way he was portrayed on the show.
Yeah.
Very abrasive. And no, God, I'm gonna really put my foot in my mouth more times than not tonight. Um, no offense to the manifestors. You know what I'm talking about.
His specific personality seemed very abrasive.
Well,
Maybe not
manifestors like
necessarily because
the clothes aura, kind
yeah.
of comes off confusing to a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not trying, dude. I have a
We love
manifestor. Okay,
manifestors.
I love manifest. I have one. I
Yeah.
have a little manifestor. I would be talking about my kid. Not that I don't. If I wasn't, I mean, we all have these tendencies. I mean, when you meet, generators that are frustrated. I know that my aura is like open and enveloping or whatever, but when people used to tell me, because I used to be definitely a very frustrated kid because I grew up in some rough shit, and so I didn't smile ever, ever. And so I would have these like old men telling me like at the grocery store or when I'm like out, why don't you smile? Why don't you smile, sweetie? And I wanted to be like, why don't I fucking punch you in the face? Would that be one to do? Would you like me to tell you the story of why I'm not smiling? Because you're gonna have to stick around for a little while, grab yourself a coffee.
Then you would understand and you wouldn't be smiling either, my friend.
Exactly. I actually told one of my, I mean, I sent it to you last night. I told one of my abusive stories with my father. And it's one of the main reasons why I do what I do, because I feel like it's important that if you go through pain, that to turn it into your purpose. There's a reason why you're going through it, and there's people that you can help. If you got out on the other side of whatever that was that you went through, I feel like it's a disservice to the collective not to bring it to them. So it's part of the reason why I do what I do. But there was something that I wanted to say about COVID.
Oh, you were talking about your cognition.
Oh yeah. I was saying that I was nervous that, I know the variants have changed and morphed and mutated, and it's not the OG, right? The OG was you lose your sense of smell, right?
Yes.
And I'm just like, I don't know, am I going to be that person that loses their sense of smell? Because that's my cognition is smell. And I was like, if I lose my cognition, I'm kind of just like batting blind.
Yeah. What really will happen? Like that, I mean, it would be interesting. Not that I
I
want
mean,
that
I
to
would
happen,
have
but
to rely, because it's not even, the thing is with smell cognition is it's not just my smell. It's that I sense things. There's like an energetic shift that happens. Like you can't lie to me. We were just talking about that. You cannot lie to me. I have a completely open throat, smell cognition, which is a first line, by the way. And I'm also a first line. And I'm a Sagittarius sun. You cannot lie to me if you tried. It's not going to happen. You can try to pull the wool over my eyes and like be super sweet about stuff, and I'll be like, they're like, there's something under there. That's what the thing is. That it's a first line, right? I can always tell there's something under there. I can smell people's secrets. And I think that's why some people get nervous around me, because they're like, I'm like, I do know. I don't always know what I know, but I know.
Yeah. You know something. You're like, there's something. You'll
Yeah.
tell me often, you're like, something's going on. Like,
Yeah. And then I
or you'll
always
tell
end
me
up finding out.
after. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I find out. You can't, even if I don't know, I know. And I'm the perfect person to also get a reading from, because I can look underneath all the energetics of you. And as we're talking, I'm excited. I do have some readings tomorrow, so I'm excited about that. I do get excited about when I do readings, because people always leave with some sort of goodie bag.
Yeah.
Like, not an actual literal goodie bag. Um
Maybe like 4 pages of notes types of goodie bags.
Well, you do get that. I do give you, when I do the one-on-one readings, my basic reading, you do get a full PDF. I don't know how many it depends on, you know, how happy my throat feels that day of how many pages you're going to get, but it's basically like a Cliff Notes version of your chart, because obviously you cannot go through someone's chart in 1 hour, entire
Yeah.
chart.
Yeah.
It's
No, it's
literally
impossible.
impossible. I was watching a reel yesterday on one of Ra's OGs. I forget his name off the top of my head, because I still have brain fog. But anyway, so the reel was, he was being a little cutesy, and someone had asked him, like, how long will it take for you to do a reading for me? And he's like, about a week. He's like, but I only have an hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, that's exactly true. And that's why I had to start doing follow-up readings. And now I even started doing what I call deep dives, but I only offer those to people that I've done readings for in the past. If I'm going to do deep dives with you, I need to know that you are ready for the information, number one, and that you're open to my desire. Because if you see me in my innocence, then you're not for me. And that's okay. But I'm not, I'm here to lead people. I'm a leader, and I understand this material like I did it in another life, because I feel like I did. And yeah. So actually, now that we're talking about it, can I plug myself real quick? So if anybody wants a reading, I know we don't really talk about that. We do this that much, right? Other than in our
No.
intro, and I think that's about it.
Yeah.
And it's so brief. So if you skip our intro, I'm plugging myself right here, right now. um, I just went through my August book. So I do have a few openings left that are open. If you guys want to take a look, the openings will not be there for that much longer. So I would definitely book it up. Once people book up, I usually only take on like 4 or 5 people a month. So once people book up those spots, I usually close the month, and then you have to go to the next month, because we have a lot of stuff we're working on. And that's my main priority, is what Leah and I are doing. But I love doing readings, and I'm really good at them. So I don't think I'd ever stop doing them. I just don't do as many as I used to, because one, it's kind of draining to do a lot of readings over and over again, because I basically enter your aura, and I'm like looking underneath all like your rocks, like every piece of paper, I'm under there, like under the hood of your car, like working on things with you. And that's, that can be exhausting, but it's such a joy for me that it doesn't feel that way until I keep doing them and doing them and doing them. I'm like, oh shit, Krystle, you need to take a step back. And I think that's why I loved creating classes with you, because it gives us a chance to be a little bit further back, but providing for more people that need this information. And
Yeah.
that's, as a desire motivation, I believe I'm here to make an impact. So I feel like that that's the direction that we're going in. And we actually have we're in the works of working on some, we're always working on stuff. There's so many things you guys don't even know what we're doing behind the scenes, but we've got something for you listeners specifically. If you didn't know, we closed the doorway in the support group for now because we are transitioning into a 5-week intensive with the variables. So if you have ever picked up any of our variable classes and you're interested in view and motivation that you cannot buy a la carte, and you had been considering joining the doorway but you didn't make it in time, or that format wasn't right for you, or you need a little bit more hand holding, like you need someone to walk you through the material, get ready because we are creating an intensive for the doorway. That's going to be a 5-week program, hopefully coming out late fall, early winter. So we'll start a wait list for that probably soon so that we can start seeing who's interested. And so you can be the first to know because it's actually going to be limited spots. This is the first time we're doing this. We never have done a limited spot anything, but because it's going to be, again, a little bit more hand holding, a little bit more hands on, that we need it to be a smaller group of people.
Yeah.
So we'll give you guys more information on that once we get to it. But back to my smell cognition. So
Oh God. Okay.
we're always bouncing around. Okay.
We are. I forgot about it.
Rope.
You
And
did.
I'm a
Okay.
generator. So
You made it back.
we're back. So back to my smell cognition. So I was like, oh no, I'm gonna lose my smell. And like my manifestor friend that is smell cognition, um, she said that she had like the worst nose stuff. I'll just say stuff that she's ever experienced. And she said her throat, which the nose and throat, ears, nose, throat, all connected, right? So she had this whole thing, and I'm like, oh fuck this, here we go. Here we go. I'm gonna get all this stuff. So the majority of it was awful. The body aches and the pain from that and the throbbing from that for a few days. It was consecutive for a few days of that body pain for me was the absolute worst. There was some stomach stuff too, but it was that at least was short-lived. The body pain lived on for a good 3 days, so that was horrendous. And then like the head pressure and brain fog stuff was pretty bad too. Starting to be a little bit more clear today is the first day that I feel like, okay, I can sit in this chair. I contemplated if we should do this from my bed for a second. And then I was like, I'm gonna have to set a whole thing up. I'm like, never mind. I think I can sit straight up today.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was the only part that was really bad. So I didn't get any so far. I guess I'm still recovering. So I don't know if anything's gonna shift or change because this virus doesn't make any sense. It's like all of a sudden you're like, I'm better. And then you're like, no, I'm not. I don't know. So, but as of right now, I have my smell and it's way too strong. I was like, did this virus decondition me more? I don't know. I really did feel like 2 days ago, I'm like, I feel kind of like I'm being reborn right now. I don't know what's going on. I have all these crazy thoughts. Like I'm seeing things. I saw text messaging and like block lettering the other day. And I'm like, am I on mushrooms? I I don't know what's happening to me. But my smell is so strong right now that I'm just like, well, fuck. That went in the other direction. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I don't know I'm sure a lot of you have gotten COVID at this point. If you want to share your experience with me, more than happy to hear it. I posted about it a few times on my stories, just like nonchalant, because I don't want to have a whole conversation about it on there. And plus, like, I don't know, it's social medias can be like, I'm talking to the wall a lot. And I'm just like, I don't want to get into like details of things and then like nobody say anything. Well, the nonchalant part of where me mentioning that I had COVID and that, or that I currently have it and I'm stuck in bed or whatever, only two people, only two, uh, out of my followers offered some, I don't know, just care.
I texted you every day. I'm like, are you alive?
Yeah, I appreciated that.
Are you
I don't know
okay
if I
today?
see if I see that somebody had COVID or is currently struggling with COVID, I'm gonna give them a fucking heart. At least
Yeah.
minimum,
Minimum.
minimum a heart,
Or
minimum.
like a care
Yeah,
emoji or like get well soon.
yeah, anything. I mean, the sky's the limit with bright, shiny words you could use.
Not asking for care packages, though they
No,
are
I wasn't,
accepted. No, I'm just
but
kidding.
I thought, at least a little heart. I
Uh,
questioned a lot of things after that. I'm like, okay, I'm going to try very, 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 very hard not to transfer here
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because my transference is personal. And I'm sure you guys have recognized that at this point.
Well, like last week's one, you were like, I think I need to listen to this again, just
I
in
did. I
case.
had to listen to it honestly twice.
Yeah.
And there was a couple times like after you had already posted it that I was going to tell you to take it
Oh
down.
no.
But then I got a bunch of feedback on it that they enjoyed
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And it also seems to be getting a lot of listens.
It does. Yeah. So thank you all for
For listening.
listening
Oh
or
yeah,
sharing or whatever you're
thank you
doing.
for listening.
Yeah.
For if you want to go and follow over us on Instagram, and I don't know.
I said to you after though, I was like, I think you were like, what is going on with me? I can't stop. I was like, I have no idea. It was just you were like straight riding the whole time,
Oh yeah,
some sort of
it was
thing.
like this like open-throated diarrhea train wreck where it's like you were enjoying watching but shocked at the same time. Like
Yeah.
51 like came for me. It was not there. It was not present during. Oh, I just realized something. The friend that I was with before we got on, she has the 2551.
So you were still there.
Yeah. And I have the 25, and that's my one of my bridge gates.
Hmm.
So,
Plus you had that fancy crown, which
oh yeah, I should have wore it. I left it upstairs. I brought it upstairs in case I wanted to wear it.
wear it in bed.
This one.
Even better.
I do
Oh my
feel different.
gosh.
I started wearing them in sessions.
I love it.
So if you get a session with me, I will probably wear the crown. So if you want to see it,
It's
um,
perfect.
how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I cleaned a house today. There was
Oh
so many
yeah.
things that went wrong today I felt bad for them because I got there and their filtration system had malfunctioned and there was like rust or like whatever orange comes out of wells was in every faucet, every shower, every toilet, every all in the sheets. Like they were nice enough to have done the sheets there, but they got
That's
all of like
awful.
white sheets are all orange.
Oh,
So I'm trying to figure
they're
out,
gonna probably have to replace those.
yeah, so I'm trying to figure out how to replace those and just like,
Well, you don't have to replace them.
well, you're right. I don't have to. I'm not replacing
You
anything.
somehow will
They're going to
you'll
have
tell
to.
them you will replace them somehow.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
you do. You're like, I'll do it.
Yeah. But I got my first tip, which made me feel
You got I
really,
didn't know they tip.
they don't tip.
Oh.
That's why I mean I got my first tip. I was pretty excited about it. And then I went upstairs and I was like, "Oh, that's why." So,
I feel like I just missed something.
well, because like they left money because they knew that the way the house was left, it wasn't their fault. It was like
Oh,
the
so they wanted to
wells'
give you a little extra
fault. Yeah, but they probably knew I was going to be there for an
longer.
extensive.
Well, that I would give extra. If something happened and I needed my house,
Yeah. They
my
even waved
cleaning
at me
person.
when they left, and I was like, hi. I was like projector, like down the road, like underneath a tree, like sitting in my car waiting for them to leave, like trying to be as far away as possible
Yeah.
because it's a really small driveway and like just trying not to be seen at all. And they were like, hi, bye. I was like, oh my God,
I know.
don't look at me. It was
No.
really funny. But other than that, like, it's been good. Oh, you know what I realized today? This does have to do with human design and not my cleaning
Okay.
business. So
You can
my mom
talk
was
about
coming
it though.
down.
I'm here to recognize you in both endeavors.
My mom came down to watch the girls while I was cleaning today. And she was like, "Oh, what time do you have to leave or to be there or whatever?" I said 10:45, thinking she might be here at like 10:30 or something so we can like chat or whatever. And I didn't realize that she's a defined root. So she's like, "Oh, I'll
You
leave
didn't
at
realize.
9." I guess I knew it, but like I didn't remember in my brain that she
Uh-huh.
was a defined root. Like it's just not like the first thing
Right
that came up.
brain.
Yep. And so she's like, "Oh, I'll leave at 9 o'clock," and I know it's over an hour and a half to get here, and I'm pacing at the door
Oh
like
my
for
God.
the last 15 minutes, and then I go on genetic matrix. I'm like, "That's right.
Yeah, she's
She's a
showing up when
divine
she
root."
wants.
Yep.
I had
She
that
showed up right when she was supposed to. It was just for me, I was like
right on time.
anticipating
So
more
right on
time.
time.
Yeah.
I had a similar experience because my mom also has a defined root. And so when we went to New York together, this was so I was like, Krystle, I was like, whatever happens, if she is gonna be late, because she was like the epitome of late when I was a kid. I was that kid sitting on the sidewalk, last to be picked
Hmm.
up, where they're wondering, do we need to call child services? No, I'm just kidding.
Hmm.
But what, because they didn't do that back then. They were like, is your mom coming?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm like, she'll be here. She's always late. And so we had a taxi to catch. We could not get an Uber to this hotel to save our lives. We had to go to the wedding the day before. 3 Ubers canceled on us. We're like, and we asked the concierge, we're like, is this normal? They're like, no. I was like, what the fuck? It's like, what the fuck, mom? And your channel is struggle,
Hmm.
okay? Um, coming at us right now. We can't even get to the wedding. So we decided we're going to take a taxi the next day to the airport because I can't miss my flight. And it was my flight. I was the first to go, but we were going together because there's no point in going separately when we're going to the same place.
Yeah.
So my mom was just going to have to like wait an extra hour ish at the airport.
Hmm.
And my mom also has the 4037. So she wants to make sure her tribe, her family is taken care of, right? Her daughter needs to get on that plane. I'm still her little baby girl to her, and I'll never be anything but. So we're getting ready to go. I tell her, I told her I'm sleeping in my clothes for the next day because we had to be up. This is my undefined route. I am like, there's no way I'll be on time. So
Yes.
I'm like, I tell her, I'm like, I'm just gonna I'm like, I wear sweatpants to bed every night. You know, you're gonna wear sweatpants on the plane. I'm like, I'm sleeping in them. I'm just gonna take a shower right before we go to bed. I'm not a bed sweater. I don't know why I have to tell you guys this detail. I have gate 9. I have gate
Red
9 in my
sweater.
Mercury. So you're going to know all the details that you didn't want to know. I will always tell you guys are probably like, this bitch does not tell me things I care about. Probably true.
Really
So
funny
I want
though.
to tell you the details that excite me. So I'm not a bed sweater. Unless I have COVID, which there was a lot. That was the other thing I forgot to mention was the sweating. But anyways, so I told my mom I'm sleeping in my clothes and I'm like, I'm gonna have every single thing packed, and all I have to do is get up and brush my teeth because I will do
Mhm.
that. I was like, get up and brush my teeth, and then I'm ready. That's it. Because I'm like, I want to wake up like 20 minutes before we have to go. And
Yeah.
she said she's going to do the same. But do you think that my mom slept in her clothes? My defined root mother did not sleep in her clothes. So, and then she was also still packing. So that was a fun thing to witness as an undefined root. Also don't really like flying. So there's a lot of pressure
Yeah.
beginning to add for me because we have about 10 minutes to walk out this door now. Okay. And I see her still, she's flat ironing her hair. I'm like, Mom, you're getting on an airplane. And also watching a manifesting generator flat iron their hair really gives me agita. And if you don't know what agita is, it's a Yiddish term, which means she gives me heart palpitations watching her flat iron her hair. And now I know why she has broken so many flat irons that I have to continually buy her because I'm going to show our YouTubers for you guys for a second. Hold on, I'm holding some crystals. My mom flat irons her hair like this. Just want to be, hold on. Here's my hand is the flat iron.
Oh.
I'm like, you're ripping your hair out. And now I know a lot of other things that I had to deal because I did my mom's hair for many, many years.
That makes sense now.
Yeah. If you didn't know I was a hairstylist and makeup artist for 14 years, just throwing that detail in there too. So yeah, so it was fun to watch her do all these tasks that did not need to happen right before we were about to get on an airplane to go home. She wasn't going. I will let you know. It's not like she had anywhere to go after she got off that airplane. She was going straight to her 2-4 Shore's apartment, and she was not going to be seeing anyone. I'll assure you that. She's a second line. She had forwarded out that whole trip and she was done, but she was flat ironing her hair. And we made it. We literally walked down like just as the taxi was pulling up. I was like, are you fucking?
Oh man.
I'm like, I need that like 5 to 10 minutes before just like to stand there and be nervous.
Yeah.
Am I here? Am I really here? Are they coming? Are they going to be on time? I needed that. I needed to do that. And I'm worrying about my mom flat ironing her hair and still packing up her suitcase when we have 10 minutes to she's like, Krystle. So my mom's also an emotional. She's like, Krystle, I'm going to be on time. Don't worry about me. Don't worry about me. And I'm like, I'm fucking worried about you.
Can't not be, Mother. Holy hell.
You're flat ironing your hair like a madman, and you still got like your clothes on from the night before. You haven't changed yet, and there's still things hanging in the closet. Of course I'm worried.
Oh man.
That's our
defined root parents.
Yeah. She was also here for 3 weeks. My husband goes to me. Also, my husband also has an undefined throat. If you think that I say things, you need to listen to my husband. It's another level. It's another level. He as we're driving home, my mom's not in the car, by the way. I want to preface this, and also I'm 90% sure, not 100, 90% sure my mom does not listen to this. But if you are listening, it is what it is, Mother. You can come for me if you want. But so we're driving back, and Dave goes, he's also a generator. I'm going to say something. Your mom stays too long. There, I said
Oh my gosh.
This particular trip, though, she was in a mood for a variety of reasons. And I had to keep telling her, what is going on with you has nothing to do with me. I know that you think that there's something else going on outside of you right now, but I assure you, it's you.
Yeah.
And she just, when I say these things to her, she does a lot of this. And I'm like, I know you know. And then she'll go, I know. And I'm like, so stop taking your emotional wave out on me. All right. She didn't. She didn't stop. One time, she has the so she has the channel of emoting. Um, and then she has the 4037, the channel of community. And so she likes to point things out a lot and things you don't want her pointing out. You know, like she goes and she's also need motivation, so she has to help you. When you don't ask for help, you don't want her helping you because she likes to fold my kids' clothes inside out and put them away.
Oh no.
And she's also like shrunk my clothes before, and she was trying to do my laundry too, and I told her, you need to stop. She goes, she did inform me though that she was putting my clothes in the dryer once, and I said, leave them in there wet. It was my
Do not
text
start it.
message. I will do it. I will do it. Don't you worry. And it was all these like little things adding up for me. She changed the garbage and then proceeded to tell me after that that I needed to have something to spray the garbage with because it smelled bad in there. And I'm just like,
It's a garbage can.
yeah.
They stink.
But like she's got that provoking
Mm,
39 that knows how to get you in the right spot with
yeah.
the right words at the right time. So that every time she would like say something, there would all be a little twitch that would entail for me afterwards. Um, and yeah, so it was a fun time. This I've been having a fun month. July has been a month I'll never forget. A lot's happened,
Hmm.
and it's not over yet.
Only one more week. One-ish
Yeah.
more week.
And so let's go. Let's get into it. Let's get
Yeah,
into
let's do
what's
it.
happening. We've got a big week ahead of us. I don't know if you know, Leah, what's happening this week,
I don't, but I'm excited to hear.
but so there's a lot. So the two big things that you guys are about to hear right now. So definitely stick around. I should have said that at the beginning. But anyways, you're here. If you're still listening, stick around because we're going to be talking about the new moon Leo happening on Thursday. And then we also have the node switching gates. So we're getting a new background frequency finally. We're we're going to leave Leah and we're going to actually I think you I think you might have I know you have at least one of these gates, but I don't know if you have both of them. 1 and 2. Do you have
I have the one. I
you have the
don't think I
one?
have the two.
So, yeah, so we're going into a bit of direction with the next background frequency that are the nodes, and we'll get into that in just a moment. So let's start at the very, very beginning. So we kick off the week focusing on our expression and the way we lead. This was end of last week. We entered this, or yesterday on Sunday we entered into this new program. So maybe you're a parent and you are the leader in your family. Maybe you are a CEO or a director, or you're that person that people always look to for advice. Whatever seat you sit in, this will be the week to shine your light on speaking from a place of I lead. This energy brings with it major influence, and we are being grounded in an initiation, but even more so, a recognition of feeling. That's what this brings. And what makes you hungry is a question to ask yourself this week. What makes you hungry? Because you're going to want to answer that question during the new moon, or at least the beginning stages of it. That's going to be, what am I hungry for? Okay. So, um, Leo energy, now that we are in it, it's asking us this week to initiate ourselves into this next season, because that's where we're headed. Brand new, um new moon bringing new energy, right? Leo energy bringing that spotlight, that drama, you know. Leos like the drama, even though some Leos lately have been telling me that they're not dramatic, and I'm like, I bet you are. I bet you are. I don't. We're all dramatic. How many times do we do things and we're like, and this happened to me? It's If you've never talked like that, you're not a human being. I don't know what planet you live on. But anyways, back to this. Tuesday. We get some G center and throat action, really emphasizing where we are going right now. And that's a big key thing of this week and of the next background frequency, is where we are going. And this really pertains to the future of our planet and where we're going with the future of human existence, right? So, where is a future direction going right now with this happening and being filtered through our communication? That's what this is being filtered through. And we might begin to see during this time something in our lives open up, something in the collective, and maybe something personally in your life. So, Wednesday, we get a new filtration system through the mind and the throat activated, and you might be able to spot patterns that might lead to some opinions. Okay. This is in the Ajna. Ajna likes to form opinions, right? Being brought up with what people have visually seeing and watching these days. Lots of movement and talking this week. I think there's going to be a lot of chatter happening on social media more than usual. There will be a lot of conversations happening around the world about what is really going on. Where do we need to focus our minds this week? Because this is the last part of the current background frequency that we've been in, which has been focused on the mind, right? So look at we're under the right now, we're on the ground level with it, right? It's in the first line, ready to transition to the next background frequency. So really asking yourself, like, what is on my mind this week? And then on Thursday, we have a brand new moon happening in Leo, really inviting us to see set some intentions on our expression. Okay, this is really going to be coming from the throat. I mean, Leo is ruled by the sun, right? So it's all about the throat, all about expression. So, and Leo loves being expressive and is passionate also because it's a fire sign. It's because it's a fixed fire sign. There's this new moon's really wants us to chase our dreams. You know, Leo's very bold. So it's about chasing your manifestations during this new moon. And chase your goals, but it's more than that, because it's about summoning your inner strength, that inner warrior that you're going to want to be doing for the next 6 months. This inner warrior, which is Leo the lion, right? That wants to plant the seeds for this cycle on your greatest potential. This is leadership energy. This is about our future and where you're going and where are you leading from. So, a question for you during this new moon, you can jot this down right now. Pause this right now, grab a pen and a paper, and write down this question for yourself for the new moon. What am I so passionate about, so fired up about, that I want to shine the spotlight on that place in me right now? What are you super, super passionate about, or have always been passionate about, but you're afraid to be in the spotlight, but you have all these dreams and you have all these ambitions? What are they right now that you want to shine a little brighter? Write that intention down during this new moon, then fucking light it on fire. I would write it in two places. One, on a piece of paper, so that you can light that piece of paper on fire. And then one, and I like to have a moon journal. I have one so that I can write down my new moon intentions and then come back with my full moon releases and see what completed from the new moon to the full moon. So if you don't have a journal, yeah, a moon journal, I would highly suggest doing it. It's been very helpful and very beneficial with um me co-creating with the universe. So I've been, I don't know, manifesting a lot of shit the last few years. Also, you have to incorporate your human design in it. Like there's a lot of other elements. So maybe one day we'll do something with that. I don't know. I'm always like, maybe we can do something with that. I have an open head. So really, like I said, this is about where are you leading from? So Leo is ruled by the sun, and the sun is about me, not me. I wish it was just about me. I'm an Aries moon, also about me, right? But Leo is about the me. It's about shining bright. It's about not being afraid to be your true self. So, what is it that you've been wanting to shine a light on? And this new moon can give you that courage, right? Leo also has a lot of courage. So, this new moon can give you that courage to finally step up and be the leader, because that's going to be the expression that we're speaking from. So, what do I really want for the next 6 months? Give yourself a 6-month goal if you can. And if your view is receptive, I want to do a little human designness with this for a second. If your view is receptive, it's really important that you allow yourself to be open to the possibility to, and maybe your view is possibility, but be open to the direction that it could go in, because you're not here to have like a direct focus of vision, right? You're here to be receptive to what could be. So have ambitious goals, but they don't need to be full of detail. And opposite end, that if you are um if your view goes left, okay, and you're more of a direct person, um there's a word I'm looking for that my brain fog has now settled in, and I forgot the word, and Leah's not going to remember what it is. I'm looking at her and she's not going to tell me what the word is. But there's a word. It's not direct. It is direct, but it's not, that's not the word that I'm looking for. And I'm not going to remember it because I can't. It's impossible at this moment. I'm still like, the more that I'm trying to remember what that word is.
Not like peripheral, is it?
No, peripheral is receptive. The other
That's
one,
receptive.
I need you to tell me what left me. What left me? I've never forgotten this. This is literally me. Focused.
Focused?
Yeah. Focused is one of them. So we're going to go with that word. So if you're focused, okay, if your view is points left, that means that you are here to look at the details, as you heard me just describing to you a bunch of details you didn't want to know. I have left view. So I am here to be more specific. So in the way that I want to look out and see the world, okay? And so if you are that way, when you write down your intentions, be a little bit more detailed. And if you're right and peripheral or receptive, then be a little bit more open to the possibility of what that outcome is going to be. And I feel like that helps just give you a clear focus. I'm not going to knock the people that have done the manifestation stuff with this. It does help, because I know that's not what view is. It's not about manifestation, but view is the lens in which you're seeing through. And I see through power, and Leah sees through, what the hell do you see through again?
Wanting.
Wanting. There, I was like, I was literally never going to get that right now. My brain is not here. Um, and I don't have notes for that. I have notes for other things. Um, but yeah, so thinking about what lens do I actually look through? And then what am I distracted by? Like for me, I'm distracted by personal. If you- Obviously, you guys have recognized that by right now, right? We talked about that at the beginning. I can get wrapped up in my personal story. And when I get wrapped up in my personal story, or sometimes other people's personal story, and I take on their story as my own, I'm holding their bags and I'm reading their books of their versions of self, and I'm like, that's not me. But I can't see past it. That's the thing, is when your view is distracted, when you're in transference, you cannot see direction. You cannot see movement, because it is with your view that you can then reach your motivation, because your motivation is actually for the other. It's not for you. It's for the gift that you were here to share with the other. It's how others recognize you. And for me, when I'm being recognized as desire, this person's on my fractal. This person is for me. This person sees my clear direction, right? Because direction starts with view. And I'm like giving everybody, how did I get into a lesson here?
I never know. I just go along with it.
Anyways, so your view, maybe it's because the nodes are changing. This is a good time to honestly be looking at your view. Maybe my guides are telling me this. This is a good time for you to be looking at your view, because the nodes are about to change and your view is connected to the nodes. It's what gives you direction, right? That's what I just said. It's what gives you directions, and your direction is led by your nodes. Your nodes are influencing your past and encouraging you to walk towards your future. So I would highly recommend looking at your view right now as the nodes shift, as we're in the new moon, right? To just see where you could potentially go. And when you're sitting in your correct seat and you have your correct glasses on, like me right now, I'm wearing my glasses, then you can actually see movement. It's when you're in distraction, you can't see where you can go next. You can't see your fullest potential because you're not in it. And it's important to get distracted. I talk about this in our view lecture, in our doorway membership, that it is important to get distracted, because it is distraction that's going to push you and show you, one, what is not you, so that you can, be able to flip the script and see what is actually you. But it's important to have almost like contrast, because it's in contrast that we learn. So it's when we're distracted, we're able to really see almost like the other side of something. And even if the other side is not necessarily you to its fullness, it is you. We are our distraction. We are our transference. People get very confused by this. And I think a lot of people don't understand what variables actually fully entail. And we won't get into that, because I'll go down a rabbit hole that nobody wants me to go down. And I'm not saying that I'm always right or that I'm 100% right with any of this stuff. I try to use source material, and then find easier ways to digest it after sharing the source material, because it's in the source material that it holds with it a frequency. And I talk about this a lot. When you trying to change the frequency, and people change like determination to like digestion and stuff, I'm not down for that shit, because it actually changes the frequency of the emission of the energy. Like you're not getting it, you're not receiving it. You're not actually receiving the message. The frequency is within the word. Words are frequency, right? So it's very important that you try to use the language that was downloaded and given to raw, because it's in that frequency that it holds within it a code. There's a code, just like I talk about with the Hebrew letters, all codes, and they're all connected. The Hebrew letters are connected to the tree of life, connected to the body graph, which is connected to our essence. And I will be giving a make sure. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I should just not be rifting right now. I don't know what my problem is where I think this is a good idea. But I'm gonna give the Hebrew letters for the codes for this new moon. So if you are interested in the cosmic codes for this new moon, definitely subscribe to our email. We started doing that. We started putting it in our email. It's a little gift that we give to our email list. So if you're interested in that, definitely subscribe, because what I tell people to do is either save the email or take a screenshot of the Hebrew letters that we give you and meditate with them during the new moon. You can also write them down. I think it's even more powerful when you try to write them down. Like if you with your moon journal, write down those Hebrew letters, and as you're writing down your intention, also having a either focus or attention, because if you're not a focused being like me, and I don't want to tell you to focus because that's not what you're here to do, but pay attention if you're receptive to what those letters are, so that because you're actually getting the essence and the frequency that's going to help transmute and transmit and mutate and transform what it is you're trying to create. They are very, very, very powerful. So if you're interested in that, subscribe to our email list. And I'm going to stop rifting because we'll go on another tangent and who knows where that one's going. So back to my notes. Where was I? So Leah's like, I don't know. So what do I really want for the next 6 months? Okay, that's a question to also ask yourself as a journal prompt question. What do you want to see happen? And remember, because this is Leo, and Leo, they go after what they fucking want. So the sky is the limit for this new moon. Now, also happening on this day, because it's like, we can't give you it all. We have Jupiter going retrograde. Okay. Which makes me a little nervous because Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. And I am a Sag. So I always get a little nervous when Jupiter goes retrograde for me. So Jupiter's going retrograde on this day. So you might begin to feel a reflection, because whenever anything goes retrograde, you want to think of it as a review. Okay. So there might be a reflection period happening during this time on your ambitions, on your dreams, and on your growth. Because Jupiter really rules growth. Is it the largest planet? It is, right? I'm having a brain fog moment. Is it the second largest? I don't remember now. Oh no. I'm so sorry. I'm really good with my planets, and now I'm like, it's a large planet. Let's just This is gonna be a fun
Let me go get my
podcast.
kid's placemat. Hang on.
Is it really?
It might be. I have a puzzle too. It's either Jupiter or Saturn, isn't it?
I'm really having a brain fart.
Oh man. It doesn't help when you have brain farts because I'm not going to come up with the information.
No, my brain fog is like, it's like you need to hurry up your talk here, because those synapses in my brain are not lighting up. Those neural pathways are shot. And anyway, so Jupiter is a large planet, and it's about expansion and growth, and it also represents luck and abundance. Is Leah looking it up right now? Leah's looking it up, so she's going to tell us.
It's Jupiter.
Jupiter is the largest planet?
Yep.
Okay, so I was right.
Then Saturn. So yes, you were right. Yep.
Okay, so I was questioning myself when I was already right. Well, as a third line should do. I also, my sense is uncertainty, so I never actually know what I'm talking about. You guys think like she knows. That Krystle, she knows. I'm just like, I just download stuff from above and I hope that I have it right. Usually I do, And in these circumstances, I usually have it right, but not always. And sometimes I fuck up. So apologies in advance for all the future fuck ups I will do. Just stick around because I'm mostly right. Mostly always. I like to tell Dave because that makes sense. I'm mostly always right. So lean into your inner lion. And if you're going to do a little ritual, maybe it might be a good time to roar. Okay. So make note in your journal, your moon journal. Keep one that, when, like I said, when the full moon comes back in the same sign and it rolls around, that you can look at your goals and intentions and see if any of them have manifested into the material world. I also don't like to write down where I am in my life during that time. It's a good time to like give a little bit of a reflection of where you're at. So like when your future self comes back around, because you don't remember, Leah's not remembering any of the details. When I say what happened 5 hours ago, she's like, I don't fucking know. It's if you're receptive, I encourage you, highly encourage you to write down what's happening because you will not remember tomorrow. And you guys know that. And it's fine. You're not here to remember the details. I will remember them for you when I don't have COVID. Okay. So be a leader this new moon. And so end of Saturday, we're fast forwarding to Saturday now. We've left Thursday. There's nothing major happening on Friday. I just so you guys know, I only tell you guys for these weekly things the major game players and maybe too much detail in other avenues too, but whatever. So end of Saturday, we get a new program, which is focusing on our stories. Now that we have found a direction from the beginning of the week, we are now focusing on speaking that story. There's a little emphasis this week on communication, obviously, and expression. And this mostly is about what you remember. Okay. Towards the end of the week and the beginning of the next is going to be about what you remember. And I might not remember anything because I have brain fog. So this might also be a reflection period. Also interesting, we got a bunch of retrogrades happening right now. So this is a reflection period for many. And we are being grounded in a revolution. Definitely, there's a revolution happening under a lot of things. Things are moving. There's a pressure happening right now. So right now, this is going to be about a pressure of being sensitive and being sensitive to the tribe, being sensitive to your family, being sensitive to your community. This is really a pressure to be of service and support the said tribe, family, or community. And this is making a full connection. Full. So I'm excited about that. I always love a full connection to our emotions. So fun times for all the non-emotionals out there for the whole week, entire week. We'll be operating as emotionals this next week after the week that we're in now. So that's fun. I'm excited for that. So we also switch background frequencies at the end of Saturday. So that's exciting. And as we were just talking about, so just to add a little more about where we are going with this, there's an extra emphasis on direction, like I said earlier, with these new node places. The nodes are, once the nodes switch, they enter into a new seat. So we've got them sitting at in a new chair. Okay. So what we are leaving behind the question is, what are we leaving behind during this time? Now that we have the nodes have switched gears, right? We are leaving behind an old creative expression and really inviting us to take a look at where we haven't been doing what we love. Where have you not been following your inspirations and your desires? Or have you been following someone else's? That might be a question from the past for a lot of people, is that you're following somebody else's inspirations and desires and not your own. So, or have you been following Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. That was something else. Back to this. Okay, so this is a time to follow your own unique expression, which will then lead you towards where the North Node is going. So that's what we're leaving behind in the South Node is an old expression of self that's been holding you back from your truth, holding you back from moving forward. So this is a time to follow your own unique expression, which will lead you towards the North Node, as I said. So the North Node is going to be showing us where we're headed. So the South Node is what we're leaving behind. Excuse me, let me take a sip of my tea because I'm losing my voice. Okay. So the North Node is where we're going. South Node is what we're leaving behind. So now we're leaving behind expression, and the North Node is going to show us where we're headed, and we're going in the direction of our own rhythm. Okay, our own rhythm. Again, not somebody else's expression. And this is the North Node is sitting in the driver's seat right now. This is the keeper of the keys. This is where our soul sits. Okay. So your soul is going to be in the driver's seat during this next background frequency that we're entering into. And you're going to be really needing to surrender to that driver during this time, which I'm like, bitch, I know you're always right. But I like to try to be in control. I have gate 21, okay? But no, you got 2140 or the 2145 or the 45. Surrender. Surrender right now to what you can become. Surrender to where you can go. Okay? And that's the majority of the week. That's pretty much everything. I feel like I said a lot. I feel like I said a lot of things nobody wanted me to talk about, and that's per usual. So
Well, so on that note, I will just pull cards and see what comes up. I'm tired just from listening to all of your notes. I was like, whoa, there's a lot happening.
There's a lot. That's why I was like, man, you guys have to make me talk this much when I have COVID. I'm like, fine, I'll do it for you guys because I love you. And we can't skip. Leah's like, we don't have to we're actually recording later than we usually record. And I'm like, we're doing it. I'm like, we're always doing it. She's like, we can skip the email. I'm like, no, we're doing it a day late, Leah. We're doing it for the people.
The people will understand though. Okay, so I got the 10 of Cups, and the 10 of Cups is about fulfillment and success and accomplishment. And I feel like you said a lot of that is like, are you celebrating yourself is one thing you can do. For all my projectors, are you celebrating yourself? Are you recognizing yourself? Because a lot of times we wait for someone to recognize us, and you can wait for the rest of your life, but you should recognize yourself for real. Start doing it. Like, make a list of all the things that you've done, even for the day. Like, even if you're making like a checklist of things like I did this, X, Y, Z, whatever. But in the grand scheme of things, maybe something that you can journal on the next week would be like, what can I recognize myself for? Not just projectors, anybody. What can I recognize myself for? How do I feel successful? Or is my cup filled? Do I feel fulfillment in any area of my life, in my family life? You see in the card, for those on YouTube, you see it looks like a family. Looking at a rainbow, looking at life as if I am fulfilled. I have a home, I have children, or I have, a happy life. Like whatever it is in your life that makes you feel happy and fulfilled, celebrate yourself for that. So that's very simple. And the next one is from Work Your Light deck. Got it right in here. This one's beautiful. It's called Transformation. And it says things are changing at a cellular level and deep healing. Okay, things are changing at a cellular level. You are not who you were a year ago or who you will soon be. You are in between, emerging, half risen, half falling. Keep doing the work. You are transforming. You will look back at this time with awe. So much is happening in your inner world and within your cells. It's time to release old ways of being that have kept you in fight, flight, or freeze mode. To choose a new way of being where trauma is not the driving force. Old childhood patterns are rising up to be healed. As you allow yourself to observe them and feel them without attachment, they loosen their grip and fall away. You are being called now to find new ways to self-soothe. Saturn and the Black Madonna and the African goddess Ocean influence this card. Saturn represents no, we were talking about Jupiter. Never mind. I was like, wait. Saturn represents destruction and transformation, and the Black Madonna represents the underground and all that has been cast aside. And Ocean represents the tender love of the original mother. A rethreading is happening, healing at the most deepest of levels. And while you are in this phase, don't put yourself under pressure to perform. You may need to review your relationship with your body, perhaps even shifting your diet or exercise, or even getting energetic healing support. You may also feel the need to consider some kind of emotional support as issues from your childhood may come up to be healed. And know that you are deeply loved. So the activation for this card, and you can write this down and keep it with you or replay it or whatever you feel like doing. I allow myself to receive the deepest healing and transformation for change to happen at a cellular level. That's a really beautiful card. I like that a lot.
Hold that for me, but I always say that. I'm like, hold these just for me. I feel like last night when I shared in this closed Facebook group that I'm in this 10-day program for, um, when I was like, should I share this extremely vulnerable share about my father and his abuse? And I'm like, I I just felt it's like we hold on to this trauma that we've experienced, from our childhood. We all have experienced trauma in some way. Some look larger than others, but all are large to you.
Yep.
Like whatever it is that happened to you. Um, Mine had to do with actual abuse, and I have always had shame around it, because I always had this, you feel like when you're being abused that it's your fault. And so I had to unburden myself last night, and it helped a lot of people. I got a lot of
Yeah.
response from that, and it made me realize that there's more to share. Um, even though it's very challenging to be vulnerable as an open solar plexus for myself,
Yeah.
um, it's like one of the most freeing things you can do is just to share your darkest secrets with whoever. And I mean, strangers on the internet.
Yeah, I mean, I guess whatever capacity feels safe for you too. Like maybe it's a therapist, maybe it's a
Yeah, maybe
friend.
that might be the best route to go is
But
therapy.
but it's also
Um,
like you help transform other people. You help give them and I told you this, it helps to give confidence and courageousness to share their story or to, let themselves be seen or let go of all of that trauma because we do hold on to it and it affects us in our real life,
yeah,
day-to-day stuff all the time.
yeah, because it's made me feel like I shouldn't be seen, because when I'm seen, I'm wrong.
Hmm.
Because that was my past life that I experienced that. But I think that everybody deserves to feel loved, everybody deserves to feel seen, and everybody deserves to feel heard. And I don't think we're doing that enough for each other. That was a big contemplation that I had while having COVID, sitting alone in my room by myself because nobody could be around me and handle my screaming.
Yeah.
There was a lot of open throat vocal generator sounds happening. So I was contemplating my life's existence as I often do. And I really think we need to start respecting each other's auras more. We just
Yeah.
don't do it. We don't respect each other's definition, and we don't respect each other's openness, which is carrying the trauma.
Mm-hmm.
There can definitely be trauma in your definition, which is even harder to recognize because that's on a loop, right? Because your definition is going boop, 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 but your openness is going like this. And and then it goes like this because then it gets pushed back. But it's what's getting pushed back from your openness is distortion, right? That's your transference trying to be like, well, now I need to, I don't know, take on being a defined throat. So let me just like try to get all this attention right now because I didn't get the right attention that I as a child because when I was a kid, the only attention I got was when I did something wrong. So let me just try to like, I don't know, do some sort of funny dance in front of everybody and then maybe everyone's going to recognize me and I'll feel good about myself. Oh, you don't see me? Okay, well then I guess I'm a loser. And that's what happens with your openness is the more that you push it and you try to be it instead of trying to see it and trying to learn from it, that's when more distortion and more distraction and more conditioning comes in. And that's when you're just a shell of a person. And I was that way for a very long time. That's why I had those old men that told me to smile. I was like, bitch, I'm not fucking smiling. But you know what? I have something to smile about these days because
Yeah.
I have a really great life. And that's what I want to give other people. That's what we want to give you guys is a better life, a better way of living, an easier way. I mean, Leah used to hustle so fucking hard and for that recognition. And the thing is she wasn't recognizing herself from the beginning.
Mm-hmm. I was on a hamster wheel,
The
running really
hamster
fast and going fucking nowhere.
wheel.
Fast.
It was she was trying to be a manifester, a manifesting generator, and a generator all at the same time. It's like,
Yep.
how can I be all of them, every
Yeah.
single type at the same time? And then you'll recognize me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And did they?
No. No. Do they now? Yes. Do
Yeah.
I do less? 100% less.
And that's the thing is we think oftentimes that we have to be doing more.
Yep.
Well, so they didn't recognize me here, so maybe I should go over here and do just work harder over here. Or if I just push myself a little bit more, or if I just people please a little bit more, then people will see me for who I really am. Actually, complete opposite usually happens. They are sickened by. It's like they don't even realize that they're like sickened by you trying to be somebody else, but they
You're
can tell
like,
you're not being you.
yeah, they're like, who is that? It really is like, who is that? Like, I know who that person. We know each other most of the time. We don't want no strangers on the internet who they are. But when you come across a friend or somebody who is doing something completely out of the ordinary, but I guess, and human design has a lot to play into that too. Like, if you know someone's chart and you're like, this doesn't seem like something that's in alignment with who you are. And it's really interesting that you're trying to do this thing to prove yourself or to try and be more, to try to be something else. But you don't need to do that because you're really successful or you're really great or you have a lot of passion and joy around other things that people see you have great talent for. And you're putting that aside just to put on a show for something else.
Yeah.
It's exhausting.
I used to put on a lot of fucking shows and they
Mm-hmm.
were very, very exhausting. And something that I've started being recognized for as an open throat and also having the 4426, which is a projected channel, by the way, is that people tell me that I'm free. They're like, you look like you're really free. I'm like, me? I'm like, is there someone behind me? Oh, it's me. They're like, no, you. And I'm like, me? They're like, you seem like the freest person I've ever met. I'm like, oh, I guess I'm just being myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what human design offers you. is a chance to be yourself, to almost meet yourself for the first time. I remember the first time I finally was able to, and it really didn't take me long because I understood the body graph because it's the tree of life, the Kabbalah tree of life. And when I started putting all the pieces together, I was like, wow, that's me. I didn't even recognize her. And that's the thing, is we don't even recognize ourselves. So how can we expect, no matter whatever type you are, we don't recognize ourselves. We don't see ourselves for our beauty and our gifts that we're here to share with the world. And it's when you start recognizing yourself that you give other people the opportunity to recognize you. And one thing that I started doing when I first came online was just trying to present all this information to everyone. But one thing that I'm really, really good at is understanding Kabbalah, understanding the tree of life, and what these underlying codes all actually mean. And so I think maybe right now it's just a thought. I'm saying I think. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't have, I know. I don't have the 23, so I don't know for sure if or when, but I want to share a post on Kabbalah, like what actually Kabbalah is and how it started, where it came about. I want to do a post on that. I know there's a lot of people waiting for me to do a post like this. Whenever I talk about Kabbalah, that's like one of the few things people respond from me with on my followers. So I think I'm gonna do a post on that because I am the resource of Kabbalah, and I don't know anybody else that does human design that actually understands what Kabbalah actually is. I think I might. I'm not saying that I'm the only person, but I think I'm a far and few between of people that do. If they're out there, I haven't met anybody yet. If you're listening to this and you actually know what Kabbalah is and you've taken classes or you've been a student or whatever, I'd love to connect with you. I love connecting with people that actually understand this information. I think there needs to be more people out there that understand the underlying essence of the Kabbalah tree of life, because those frequencies, the channels in the tree of life, in in human design, are connected to our DNA. That's connected to, it's the pathway. It's the pathway of ascension. That's what the channels are. Starts out at the ground level, at the root, that I always love to use. I love saying Melchut, Melchut. I cannot do it. Do it right now. My throat can't do it. But anyways, so we start out on the ground level. We're at the root, and it's about ascending to the G center, ascending to the driver that we're going to be sitting in for the next few months with this next frequency, you know? So I don't know, settle in, write your intentions this week, be bold with New Moon Leo, because Leo is about just being yourself. Leo doesn't want to be anything but itself. It knows how to shine bright on its own. So
go be courageous.
Go be the lion.
Your courageous self.
And we will see you guys on the next one.
I'll see ya.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Krystle and I are really here as defined hearts to provide value to you with our unique insights. If you have found any of this episode valuable to you, we ask that you share with a friend, tag us with a highlight on Instagram, and write us a review so we can reach more people. Human design and astrology are tools to guide us toward our transformation. You are a unique and beautiful being, and we encourage you to let that light inside of you shine bright. See you in the next episode, friends.